Hey, welcome to another update on Archmage Rises, the future of role-playing games. I am Thomas, the lead fool designer and financier of this incredible role-playing game, and I'm here with Nick.
Code Monkey.
Code Monkey. Extraordinaire. This is going to be a short update this week because I'm coming down with a cold and we have nothing to show. So if you came for the seeing, the current build and whatever, I'm sorry to disappoint. There's nothing to show. But we are going to answer someone's question and give you a bit of an update of what happened this week, some cool features. So do you want to start with the person's question? You think we should do that? Or we can talk about the features? Talk about the question? Okay.
Question
Nikitsia, I hope that's how you say your name, said, hey, I was on Steam, and on the Steam page it said that you can play a lifetime in 2 to 4 hours. I'm looking at all the features and everything that this game has. How is that even possible? So he caught me in a big fat lie. No, that's not. So yeah, when I started building the game, there were definitely less features at the time that I put that Steam page together, which was about 18 months ago was when I wrote that and put that together. How time flies. And even at that time, you couldn't build your mage tower block by block at the time that I wrote that. So he made the point of you can spend 4 hours just designing your mage tower. And my answer to that is yes, I hope so. For those that really enjoy building a mage tower, then great. So it is my design intent all the way along, still until now, that you can play a game of Archmage Rises in an evening. Now, an evening is kind of a relative term, what does that mean? And I say basically post-supper to when you go to bed. So, seeing it through. Now, if you go and get stomped by some hill giant in the first, 5 minutes, I'm not really counting that towards the average play time of the game, right? But secondly, I also want to say that the very first time you get Archmage Rises, you fire it up and you start playing, it won't be 2 to 4 hours to play a full lifetime. And the reason is that you're still learning. There's lots of things to try and understand and such. And so I've had a recent experience with that by starting a board game club on the island here that I now live at in the middle of nowhere. And I thought I'd bring some geekdom to everybody because all they know is snowmobiles and maple syrup. So I decided, they do play Catan. Okay, so Catan made its way here, but they've never heard anything else. So I started this board game thing, and so we just played Dominion this past week, and we had 5-player Dominion, and it says on the side, I think it says half an hour to play a game of Dominion on the box, and it took us an hour and a half to play it with 4 new people. So why is that? How can they get away with lying like that? And the answer is that once you know what you're doing, you can really fly through the thing, right? And it's reasonable to do a game of Dominion within 30 or 40 minutes or something like that. And so that is kind of the sort of number that I'm advertising is not the first time you play Archmage Rises, but you're on your 3rd or 5th or 10th life. You can crank through a life. Hey, I'm going to play these things. I'm going to try those things. I'm not going to do these other things and go through. But if you're exploring every possible thing from the apprentice management to building your mage tower to exploring all the dungeons to befriending every single person to writing your own songs and then traveling around as a bard and performing them in every inn in the land, that's going to take you a long period of time in order to do that. And there definitely are things in the game that will use up a lot of in-game time, like studying or other things that will burn weeks and months of your time away. But if you go and you're having a conversation with someone, no in-game time is passing, but real time for the player is passing, minutes, maybe even an hour or something like that, right? So anyway, I have updated the Steam page, so it is less of a lie. I don't want to mislead anybody on that, so I increased the numbers a bit and gave a little more explanation, I think, to it. So thank you for your question, and if we get other kind of critical questions like that, we're definitely going to answer them in these updates. So look at that. I already used up all the time, the 4 minutes already. Why don't we now we move on to what it is that we worked on this week. So we have two things left to do in Build 11. One of them is for new settlements to be founded, and the second thing is to get the monsters propagating and working and attacking people and all that stuff. So we have that working in a prototype, and now we're trying to get it working in the main game. And so this week, Nick, you have been trying to get the settlements working, and the big challenge has been in passing tons and tons of time. So why don't you explain that?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I've been working on improving the performance of the simulator, and the reason is because we're working on making towns be able to found after the world is generated, and we have that tech working. But the problem is now that we're simulating every person in every town every hour, there's a lot of data going on there, and so we have to make sure that that's as efficient as possible. So somebody takes, they get married, they get pregnant, 9 months later, they have a child, but then we have to wait another potentially 18 years to get that person old enough to work. And so in order to get the populations to bloom to the size we need to run 20, 30 years just to test out the new town founding. And so that's what I've been working on, is getting years to pass quickly enough to where when you first start a game, it's not simulating, for a real-time month or something while this thing goes. So we've made a lot of strides there. A year used to take about 3 minutes, and now it's down to about half a minute. So just picking away at it.
And even that 3 minutes has been a giant improvement, because before, when the player was walking around and we were passing turns by day, not by hour, it was sometimes taking 2 or 3 seconds per day. So I don't really know how to calculate that out in my head. 365 times 3 seconds is 9,000 seconds. No, about 1,000 seconds. So I don't know how many minutes that is, but it's a lot of minutes, and nobody's going to sit there and wait for that progress bar to happen on the screen. So you've been able to get a huge improvement, just getting a year down to 30 seconds when a day used to take 3. And
so Thomas has been working on making the townspeople more interesting and more detailed, and I've been working on making it move faster.
Yeah. So as soon as you get some performance improvements, I come in with some new logic in order to slow it down. Yeah.
Exactly.
So a house divided makes for a lousy video.
That's right.
That's what Jesus said.
That's right.
So that's why that's why we don't really have much to show, unfortunately, this week. But I've been working on the desires of the people and getting them to have different desires, things for fun and activities, food, sleeping, all that stuff. So we have a pretty cool system that is very flexible, allows us to put in any kind of desires in there. So something like a fun meter, like builds up, kind of like in The Sims. Well, in The Sims it goes down, but in our game it goes up. And once it gets to the top, then they want to do something fun. And based on the different personalities, certain people's meters will go up and down. Another example is chattiness, like how much they want to talk with the player. Hook that in with the whether they're extroverted or introverted, and so the extroverted ones go up a lot faster. So when you go to talk to somebody, they have a lot more time for you, whereas the introverts are like, get out, and they only give you 1-word answers. So anyways, I've been working on all that, and every time you make a performance improvement, then I push up my code, and then it makes your life harder. Hopefully we'll have a more interesting, exciting update next week, but for now, that's it, everybody. Bye.
Bye.